You put these glasses on, and all of a sudden, all of the keys that cannot happen just disappear. So you see, we've just read the entire first line of this piece without ever really thinking of the name of some note, or whether it had a sharp or a flat. A further important point of playing piano, a very important one, is the idea of a key inventory. And what I mean by that is the following. Let's say you've sat down at the piano before and tried to play something by ear. Let's say you wanted to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and you started at this key here. So first thing you do is you just sort of try it out, right? You play, no, that's not right. I know, that's not right. No, that was wrong. Now I got it, okay? Now, what I mean by key inventory is that at this point, you now look and you see, what keys did I use in order to play that piece? So, turns out you needed these. So you made a bunch of other mistakes, right? One time you might have played this note or this note or this one here. We've now determined this is our inventory. This is the set from which we're going to be taking all of the notes in this piece. There are no other ones, at least not for what we've played up till now. This will help you when you play the piece again, whether it be tomorrow or in a week from now. You know that these are the keys. That will prevent you from making the following mistake. You think, oh, that was wrong. We don't want to reinvent the wheel here. We already know and have determined that the keys in this piece are these here. You don't need to try any other ones out. We know these are the ones. If you make a mistake like that, end up playing some piece or piano key rather, that's not even in the inventory, it's akin to this situation. You meet someone on the street, and he says, you can win a new car if you can just guess his name. And he tells you, he gives you a hint. My name is either Michael or Martin. Now, for a new car, what is my name? And you think about it for a second, and you stare into his soul, and you think, I think I can figure it out. And you say, okay, I've got it. Your name is Bob. And he looks like you've just not understood the game. I told you my name is Michael or Martin, and you're saying Bob. And you're saying, no, don't tell me. Don't tell me. Fred! You've not understood the game, right? He's given you a multiple choice assignment, and you need to treat it as such. The same thing here. These are the keys that can happen in this piece. Don't choose any other ones. They will not happen. We already know that. And limiting yourself in this way, having already figured out what keys can happen, can be a huge help. In fact, it's so important that at the beginning of a piece of written music, they'll always tell you what the key inventory is. This here, right here, is known as the key signature. It tells you which keys get sharps and which ones get flats. I have here Moonlight Sonata. We'll take a look at that. This one has 4 sharps, so that's letting us know from the very beginning which keys are here. Now we'll talk about in a moment which keys those are exactly. But you might be asking yourself, yeah, I've seen that before, the way that they write those sharps and those flats at the beginning of the piece. Why did they do that? Why can't they just tell me in front of each note itself whether it has a sharp or a flat? Why do I have to remember this the whole time? And let me tell you, it's a huge advantage to have this written at the beginning of a piece. It's like someone whispering to you, hey, I'm going to tell you from the very beginning, we're only going to use such and such keys, and if we make any exceptions, we'll let you know. So you know from the very beginning which keys can happen and which keys cannot. It's a bit like putting on glasses. You put these glasses on, and all of a sudden, all of the keys that cannot happen just disappear. They're gray or invisible, and you only see the ones that can actually happen. Let's use this idea to actually read the left hand of the beginning of Moonlight Sonata. So we have the sheet music for Moonlight Sonata here in front of us, and we want to play the left hand in the first line here. So the first thing we want to figure out is the key inventory. So we take a look at this here, at this key signature, and we see it has 4 sharps. Okay, well, what does that mean? Without going into details, that means the following. If we wouldn't have had any sharps or flats, we would just be dealing with white keys, right? Turns out these 4 sharps here turn this into that, this into that, this key into that, and this key into that. So that means our key inventory is this. Okay? Now we want to remember that, so let's take a look at that. Well, we have 2 black ones and another 2 black ones with a white in the middle, and then a couple of white ones up at the top. Okay. However you want to remember it, it needs to be remembered. You could also play it here. You could also play it down here. The order doesn't matter. You could also play it like this. Right? These are the keys that can happen in this piece, unless otherwise specified, right? Maybe they want to make an exception here or here, right? If they do, they'll let you know. But we see, in that what we want to play, there are no exceptions. So we know our inventory. And let's say we've already figured out the first note is here, okay? That is the beginning. All we need to do now, and this is how we're going to use this key inventory, is just to read that the note goes down 1, right? This was on a space, this is on the next line. Well, just goes down 1 within the inventory. This one here just goes down 1 again to that note in the inventory. Now, how do I know that it didn't go down to here? Well, that key's not in the inventory, right? I need to use the idea of the inventory. That one's not there, so I don't even need to think about that one. I have my glasses on and I do not see that key at all. I don't see it. So just going down here, and then now we have a space and another space, which means we must be jumping over that line there, which means we're just jumping over one of the keys in the inventory, right? So we're jumping over this one, in this case, and landing here. And you notice, I did not find this key by knowing, oh, I think that note is called an F. I think an F, doesn't it get a sharp in this piece? I could have done that, but in this case it's a lot faster just to know I was here, now I'm jumping over one in the inventory, and I land here. In other words, I'm thinking within the inventory. And then I see that it goes up 1, and now I see that it stays the same. So you see, we've just read the entire first line of this piece without ever really thinking of the name of some piece, or of some note rather, or whether it had a sharp or a flat. We just think, okay, this is our starting point, and now the note goes down, and then it jumps a little bit down, and then it goes back up, all within the key inventory. That saves you doing double work. If you already know the inventory, there's no need for you to identify the exact name of each one of these keys, and then also to know, okay, an F, the F gives a sharp. Well, you already know that. We said it at the very beginning. So read within the inventory, up and down within the inventory. And if I had to pick one point that most people think they're already doing, or that they don't need, but that they actually would benefit from actually doing, it would be this one. Anytime you're improvising or reading music or playing by ear, knowing which piano keys are at your disposal and which ones are not is a huge